He's drunk and alone too. Don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. Free, don't be his friend. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. I got no rules, I count him. I gotta do it for myself. I got no rules, I count him. I keep pushing forwards, but he keeps pulling me backwards. Nowhere to turn, nowhere to turn. No, now I'm standing back from it. I finally see the pattern. I never learned. From my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, I do. One.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ashley Lowry. I am currently the nominating vice chair. So we're so excited to have you guys to talk a little bit about willingness to serve, what willingness to serve is, what's included in that. We're here to answer your questions and provide you guys with a lot of information. So we've got several different things planned for the day, and we've got an entire presentation that we'll be sharing here momentarily with an outline and agenda, so you guys can kind of see what the direction is for the morning. So we really want this to be very casual and open. If you guys have questions as we're going, please don't hesitate to throw your hand up or come off mute and just say, hey, Ashley, slow down. I have a question here. Totally fine for you guys to do that. And so, we have pretty much the entire nominating committee is here today. That we're all on screen, and you can tell because we have our little nominating committee icon background, so you guys can easily identify who's who. And if you have questions and you want to put them in the chat instead of speaking out over the call, we're happy for you to do that as well. And we'll keep an eye on those and answer them as they come up. So I feel like in this virtual environment that we're in, it's always fun to use the chat. Sometimes I get a lot of really great laughs because I'm always behind the 8-ball reading them, and then I get to see it and get distracted, but that's okay. I like it. So again, I'm gonna pull up a presentation that we're gonna share. It kind of goes through who the nominating committee is and everything that has to do with willingness to serve. I'm really excited to see the group of people that's dialed in today. I think that willingness to serve is such a great process to dip your toes into the leadership possibilities that the league provides. And I think it's just such a great environment to do something new, try something new, stretch yourself, and really get some experience personally and professionally. And I think that that's a really amazing thing and something that the Junior League really strives with. So did want to let you guys know that the presentation and recording will be available after today's call. So we're recording the opening session and the closing session. We are going to have some breakouts in between, so those won't be recorded. But we will have everything recorded and provided to you guys and anyone else. So if you're on the call and you feel like, oh my gosh, this is such great information, I really want to share it with my friends, their members, or people in my small group, or my advisors, or whatever, it will be available, and we'll get it out to you guys probably either later today or tomorrow. So again, thank you guys so much for joining. I am going to pull up the presentation. All right. Buttons. There we go. All right. So as I said, willingness to serve workshop 22-23. So we are looking to fill leadership positions for the 2022-2023 league year, which will be next league year. Our focus this year for the nominating committee has been to decode, develop, and diversify. One of the things with nominating and selecting leadership is that a lot of the conversations that we have are confidential. And so I think sometimes there's a lot of mystery around what we do as a committee and what goes into choosing leaders. And so really, I think our biggest focus is on that first word in the image is decode. And today is really part of decoding the process and, allowing you guys to ask questions and absorb as much information as possible. So going to go into the nominating committee. So nominating chair is Brandy Edwards. And unfortunately, she couldn't be here with us today, but she has been cheering us on over the last couple of days to get ready. And we're very excited to be here this morning. Again, I'm Ashley, and I am the nominating vice chair, which means I will be nominating chair next year. Our committee has 7 women that are committee members, and we rotate them off and on. So everyone serves on nominating for 2 years, and we stagger it so that we've got a wealth of knowledge. And in these 3 women, Shelly, Kristen, and Alicia, we definitely have that. I don't know what we would do without all 3 of them and all of their knowledge and information from last year, and are just super helpful in general. So this is these are all on their 2nd year of serving on the nominating committee. And as with all of us, you can look us up in the directory if you have any questions. We all are assigned as liaisons to different councils. So you'll see in the breakouts today that we each sort of take one of those breakout sessions. And so if there's a specific role that you're interested in, let's say, for example, that you want to be a provisional advisor, then that would fall under HRC, which is the Human Resources Council. And then you could go directly to that liaison in order to ask specific questions. The great thing about the nominating committee is that we all know that information, so you can come to any of us, but going to the liaisons is super helpful as well. Our first year nominating committee members are also amazing and have a wealth of experience within the junior league. And so that is Daquita, Amber, Brittany, and Amelia. And so they're also liaisons as well. All right, so engage with us. As I said earlier, we have members watching the chat. We want to hear your questions. If you have them, throw up your hand, put it in the chat, or just speak up, and we're more than happy to answer any questions you may have. If you're attending, you want to take a screenshot of today and sort of record the fun for posterity's sake, please use on social media JL Charlotte or JL Change Agents. And we will also provide, again, the presentation from this meeting so that you guys can use that in the future. So the most exciting part of willingness to serve, or WTS, as we refer to it a lot, are the positions that are available. So we have a lot of leadership positions in the league that range from being a liaison or a coordinator all the way to being the president of the organization. So the willingness to serve positions are focused on chairs and vice chairs, coordinators, assistant coordinators, advisors, and liaisons. So typically we try to place people that will serve for 2-year terms. So I'll use the chair and vice chair example. I think it's one of the easier ones to follow. So if you want to be the vice chair of Done in a Day, which is one of our CIC placements, then you would apply to be Done in a Day vice chair. And then the committee, the nominating committee, would review everyone that applied for that position and make the best selection based on people's experience and level of interest, and all of those different qualifications are going into that process. And then if you are selected as the vice chair, then you would serve as the vice chair for Done in a Day for 2022-2023 league year. And then the following year, you would be the chair. And that would be the 2023-2024 league year. So typically we are filling the vice chair, the assistant coordinator positions, or, the advisors or liaisons, which are typically more one-year positions. So what we're going to do is go into a review by council of the positions that will be open for next year. So if you guys can't tell, we have a change agent theme. So lots of Carmen Sandiego and magnifying glasses throughout the presentation today. We'll start with the Communications Council, which is obviously super important. We would never get anything done probably without the Communications Council's help and support in getting emails and the happenings and updating social media. And so there are several positions here that we're going to go into just a little bit. So for the Communications Council, these are the positions that they have open: blog assistant coordinator, CIC liaison, education and training liaison, FDC liaison, happenings assistant coordinator, HRC liaison, leadership marketing and PR vice chair, league preservationist, social media vice chair, the crier editor or assistant editor, the crier sales coordinator, and the website assistant coordinator. So as you guys can see, obviously these are all very heavily communications focused. There are a number of liaisons within the Communications Council. I think this is the one council that has the most liaisons, and it may be the only council with liaisons. And essentially you're part of the Communications Council, so you would be part of that communications workflow, but you would be supporting a council, a seat, either whether it's community impact or human resources or fund development. So it might be a really good position if you are interested in joining a different council, but want to sort of just slightly dip your toe in and figure out what they're all about. Serving as a liaison is really a great way to do that. And you help them develop their communication and communicate their events. And it's really a great way to learn about other councils within the league. And then obviously all of our communications, the crier, the happenings, and really just all about marketing, PR, and communications. The next council is the Community Impact Council. This is all of our external placements. So you might hear a lot about external versus internal placements. The external placements are all through the Community Impact Council, and it just means that we're partnering with someone outside of the junior league. So those are what we call our community partners. So it's really important to note that everything on Community Impact Council is pending the membership approval vote. So for those of you that attended the January GMM, you're aware that there was a vote for the new slate of placements and the new slate of leaders. And that window to vote is still open. And so until it's finalized, there could be changes here, but we did go ahead and show or illustrate what is going to be available based on membership approval. So we have a lot of really great partners within the Community Impact Council that are returning. So all of these that are listed here on this page are returning. So we'll have Bright Blessings, Classroom Central, Thompson Child and Family Focus, DigiBridge, and Done in a Day. One of the things that's really unique about the CIC Council is that they also have team chairs. So we're going to have two teams going forward, and all of the smaller committees will roll into those teams. We'll have Community Ready to Learn and Community Children's Health teams. And then also on the bottom line is project development and evaluation, which is really important. And that's how we select those placements and present to membership every year. We also have a couple of new CIC leadership positions because we've selected a couple of new partners. So Promising Pages was a partner previously. They were not a partner this year, and they're going to be again next year. So we're excited to have them back. And then Wing Haven, which is a new placement as well, new community partner, and one that everyone's very excited about. All right, moving on to education and training. So education and training is just an amazing group. They put on all of the events, all of the training events that we have, which are numerous. As you know, everybody is always very focused on educating our members and allowing them opportunities for growth. And so really the Education and Training Council focuses on that. So you have Get on Board, Public Policy and Advocacy, the JLC Mentor Program, Leadership Development Institute, membership meetings, and training and development. Again, these are all, the vice chair position. And so there is a committee underneath those roles as well. Finance Committee. God bless the women of the Finance Committee. I wish it was something that I was good at, but it's not. So I'm so thankful that we have women in the organization that are very focused on finance. We have our finance manager, multiple finance committee members, the finance secretary, and several foundation board members at large. So all of these are actually slated positions through willingness to serve, which means typically a committee member would be chosen during the placement process, which is where you go in and you list out the placements that you're interested in. It gets sent to the placement committee, and then they assign everyone into their committees. The finance committee is a little bit different because they are managing the finances of the organization and work directly with the CFO and the finance manager. Those positions are actually slated through willingness to serve. So if you're interested in being part of the finance team, it's really important to apply for those positions. Next, we have fund development, which is where we do all of our fundraisers and some of our social events. So Fund Development Council, we have an annual fund planned giving coordinator, as well as an annual fund vice chair, corporate partner stewardship, lights, camera, fashion, little black dress, and internal events and socials. We're undergoing a really big change in our fundraising development plan league-wide. So a lot of that has to do with the nature of being in a virtual environment because of COVID. A lot of that has to do with where we feel we can be the most successful with fundraisers. So these are subject to change a little bit as we finalize what those internal placements look like and how we sort of allocate out the different positions. These are not roles that have to be voted on by membership. So as the Fund Development Council continues to sort of evaluate what they want to see in terms of their committees and how we'll do fundraisers in the future, some of these could change. But I think there's still going to be positions available regardless of whether the name changes or the focus changes slightly. So these are where you can get involved with any type of fundraising and the annual fund and corporate sponsorships. Human Resources Council is one of our largest councils, and we as Nominating Committee actually roll up into the Human Resources Council. We are slated positions, so we're not part of the willingness to serve process, but I'll go into the positions that are included. So Human Resources Council has membership development. Membership development vice chair is sort of all provisionals. And with that, you have MDC recruitment and sponsorship, MDC special events, and MDC training coordinators and advisors. Then we have membership advisory vice chair, and they're all over all of our membership advisors. So everybody within the league has, if you're a provisional, you have a small group, but if you're not a provisional, you have a group of members and one membership advisor that sort of gives you updates throughout the year when meetings are, when deadlines are, what different things are coming up. And occasionally we'll meet together as a smaller group. And then you have MAC advisors under the membership advisory chair and vice chair. We also have a placements assistant coordinator and placements coordinator. The difference between coordinator and chair is that coordinators don't have a committee. So we will have just two people that run the placements process. as well as a transfer vice chair. So that is as transfers come in throughout the year, whether they are coming in at the front end, or there's usually a second class of transfers that may come in halfway through the year as different people move into Charlotte and want to continue their membership in the junior league, they'll transfer in. So we have transfer advisors and chair and vice chair specifically for them. All right. I feel like I'm out of breath. I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on in the chat. So I'm hoping the committee is answering your questions as we go. But I'm just going to sort of talk through next steps. Does anybody have any questions before I go into that? All right. Okay, so, well, I was going to. Okay, there we go. All right, so how to apply for willingness to serve positions. So the process is easy. It's very easy. There's not a lot of requirements. There's not a lot of preparation or documentation that you have to supply the nominating committee. So I think the most important thing to remember is that it's an easy process. Be sure to review all of the open positions and make sure you're familiar with the role. So we are working on getting all of the positions available for 22-23 up and running. We've had some glitches with our digital cheetah system. So the nomination window opened yesterday. So you can nominate people to be willingness to serve leaders, and then the application window will open next week where you can actually apply to be a willingness to serve leader. Within those forms, there are links to each council and each position so that you can see what the positions are, what the requirements are, and just have a general understanding of what's expected. Fill out the form. We're going to make sure that when you log in to Digital Cheetah or the JLC website, there's a section up at the top of the page, the home page, when you log in, that has different links. Donate to annual fund, don't forget the GMM, you know, all of those little messages that pop up at the top. We're going to have willingness to serve application up at the top of there as well. Include your top 2 or 3 choices and make additional comments. So there is the opportunity to add comments as to why you chose one of the 2 or 3 positions that you selected, why you think you'd be a good fit, what you like about it, and just any additional information you'd like the nominating committee to consider as we're filling all of those positions. And then also, I think what's really important to remember is that we may ask you to fill a role that you didn't apply for. So be open-minded. We see all of the positions and all of the connections and all of the interactions across the board for the entire leadership structure of the organization. And sometimes we may see where there's a really good fit for something that you didn't even consider, or we feel like there would be a really good partnership in certain places. So if you're, wanting to be a leader in the league and are comfortable with, really being open-minded, we encourage you to do so. So there's a number of resources. As I said, we're working on getting that list updated. So that should happen sometime today or tomorrow at the latest. Hopefully we're just working through some technological issues, but you can find additional resources under the nominating committee page. So when you log in, these are the tabs you'll see across the top of the page when you log into Digital Cheetah. There is a resources tab, and about halfway down when you select that tab, you'll see nominating committee. This is what it looks like when you click on that option, and it goes through who the nominating committee is, what we do, what all processes we're included in and how they run. So it goes through slate, it goes through willingness to serve. It's really a great page for references and to answer any questions you might have. A little bit further down on that page, you'll see where willingness to serve is coming. Again, this just gives you a little bit more information, explains to you how the process works, and what all we consider when we go through it. So that's all on the same page. So this is where you'd start, then you'd scroll down and you'd see this. So really important key dates to remember. We have the nomination period is now open. It's open from now until January the 21st. On the 21st, the application submission period will open. So you can nominate yourself, you can nominate others, and you can also apply. So we consider both of those things. We consider all of the nominations and we consider all of the applications. There's a really good chance that if you were nominated and we haven't seen you apply, we might reach out and encourage you to do so. And then once we have slated everyone and filled the willingness to serve roster, we will send out email notifications that you have been selected for the position. And we just ask you to confirm. It keeps a nice record for us in Digital Cheetah. All right. That was the end of the presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and just see if there are any questions.
Hi, I have a question. My name's Gina.
Hey, Gina.
Are all of the chair positions just for internal, or is there external placement chairs available as well?
There's both. So there are positions for both internal and external.
Okay.
Some cases, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, on the page that was listed, I'm just wondering if Renaissance West is open for a chair position.
Let me just look. So I'm going to have to check on that one.
Okay, thanks. I didn't see it listed, but if
yeah, I see that it's not
check,
listed, but I need to follow up. I think that may have just been a user error and I didn't include them in the presentation.
Okay, thanks. And is the link to the application on Digital Cheetah as well?
Yes, it will be.
Okay.
It's not currently up in the reminder section, but I'm going to make sure it's up there by the end of the meeting today.
Okay, thank you.
Ashley, I can help you with that if you need it.
That would be great.
You got it.
Any other questions? Okay, great. So as we talked about early on in the meeting, we are going to now do some breakout sessions by council. And so we will, I think Alicia is going to show where you can select the breakout that you want to join. If you're not sure, you might want to jump in the chat and ask which one you would be a good fit for you to join. And feel free to join one and then ask questions about others when we come back at the end. So we're going to do our breakouts for about 20 minutes. And then we'll come back and have a group discussion at the end and answer any additional questions.
I had a quick question. How do I move into the CIC group?
I can put you in there really quickly.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
If anyone else is having trouble joining, just let me know and I can throw you into a breakout.
Do I need to put myself in somewhere for comms?
Oh yeah, let me put you in there.
Okay, thank you. And same with Janika too.
Can someone tell me what ENT is again?
Education and training.
Oh, thank you.
Can you put me in the HRC room, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Hey, Rachel, everyone moved to breakout rooms. Do you want me to throw you in there?
Yes, is there a finance one? I am so
Yes.
sorry.
Oh my gosh,
I'm-
no, not at all. Not at all. I just put you in there. And we literally just started them.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you had some great conversation in your groups. So what I really wanted to do for this part of the presentation or the meeting today is just sort of hear some feedback from you guys. So I would love for the nominating committee members to share maybe like one or two of the top things that you guys talked about. And so I'm just gonna sort of go in alphabetical order. Sorry, Amber. And and just let you guys give just a little overview or anything you found really interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually funny because I got cut off. So I wanted to clarify one thing that I think is sometimes kind of confusing, since some of you may be provisionals right now, and it's a lot to, this is your first year, it's a lot to understand. And I think one of the biggest things that took me a minute to understand is that this willingness to serve is for these vice chair positions, and there are leadership roles. So if you are interested in one of those positions, this is the time to sign up, and then us as nominating, we assign and put people in those roles. And then if you're not interested in a leadership role, then you want to do the placement survey, which comes later. I don't think we have exact dates for that, but it's typically like February, March timeframe, maybe like April-ish. But that's where you go on just like the committee member role. I think that's a big distinction to make for those that are brand new and are still understanding the structure of how to get into any one of these councils.
Thank you. All right, Amelia.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about briefly was just kind of jumping into that vice chair role and kind of, if you're not someone who's like super passionate about speaking in front of a large group or something, does that mean that you can't be a chair, shouldn't be a chair? And we were just kind of saying, every committee is different, and it's good to just kind of dive in, and you're never gonna be like alone on an island as a chair. You have that whole year as the vice chair to sort of ramp up and learn what you're doing, and also see who's on your committee and see who something Paris talked about, like use that year to see who's on your committee that really shines, that you think, I want this person to vice chair with me next year. Maybe just kind of seeing that ahead of time and being prepared going into that. But we just sort of said, definitely dive in. If you're really passionate about a committee and you want to lead that, it's okay if you don't have a huge amount of experience. It's okay if you don't love being that person giving presentations, especially with education and training. Everything is such a committee oriented group effort that really, it's not as scary as it may seem to jump into that leadership role.
Yes, Becca, I love your comment. We are a training organization. We love to say that, and it is true. So always remember that. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Becca. Brittany.
Well, I was in the same room with Amelia, and she did a very good job with like summarizing all of that. So I would say what I would take from that is just getting to know Paris's experience. It was really extensive on the ENT committee, like just it's great hearing from her. And I mean, I have not been a vice chair yet. And I get nervous about that plunge. And, that's something I do want to do eventually. So just hearing from her perspective, what it takes to jump into that role. And she shared that she was an introvert. And so it did take a big jump for her. And so it's just really fun to hear about people's journey in the league. And yeah, it was a great session.
Great, thank you. Okay, who's next? Daquita?
Yes, so I too was in the room with Shannon, excuse me, with Amber. I was looking at your last name, sorry. I was in the room with Amber, and so I just want to second what she said. You know, you don't have to know everything to definitely put forward an interest in leadership. And one of the great things, I've served on finance, one of the great things about the finance committee is really seeing how the numbers line up and seeing how our funds and our finances are being used to drive the mission of the organization. In addition to being able to work with and collaborate with a lot of the leaders in Junior League. It's great to have a say and to encourage the future finances. We do the earn, plan, spend model, which is awesome. So, you know, the decisions that you make today on the finance committee will impact the league in years to come. So don't hesitate to join and get out there and give it a try.
Thank you. Let's see. Kristen.
Awesome. So I was in the comms council room with Juliana and Janika, and they went over all the different roles within comms. And I think it's important to, as you guys are researching and deciding which type of role you want to volunteer for and put your name in the hat for, is really research all of them, because a lot of these roles are behind the scene kind of roles, but they're really integral to making sure that the league functions. I think especially on comms council, it's important because as we function in a virtual world, like communications is so important. And each of these roles has a little piece of that puzzle to help make sure that we're connecting and engaging with our members. So don't hesitate during your research process, connect with either, whether it's a liaison from the nominating committee, connect with a council manager. Everyone's super approachable and wants to help educate you on what those opportunities are. We have resources on Digital Cheetah, and we're going to email those out. You'll see them in the Facebook group as well over the next several weeks. But don't hesitate to ask questions and consider all the options.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. Last but not least, Shelly.
So I was in HRC. I was with Becca. We had a nice size group. Becca did go over some of the requirements as far as time it would take on some of the committees. She also went over any questions that any of the ladies in the group had. A lot of excitement around MDC and placements. So more to come to that. Also, we did get cut off. So I know someone had a question. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to Becca, or you can reach out to myself to get your questions answered. So do apologize that, we got cut off because we was having a great conversation.
Thank you, Shelly. So I do have one specific thing that I want to ask for everyone from the group, but I would really love to open the floor now for any of our council managers or assistant managers that joined. If there's anything you guys would like to share or didn't get to say in the small group, or just feel would be really beneficial to the entire group, would love for you guys to take that opportunity.
Sure, I'll jump in. I think, applying to be part of Willingness to Serve is such a big jump, and it's so exciting, and you will learn so much along the way. I know it can be a little bit scary and a little, give you some anxiety, but there's so many women in the league that just want to see everybody succeed and are willing to help and step in. And that's been my experience. I kind of jumped up into the comms council manager role, and everybody on management team and the board have been super supportive. So I know it's constantly said, but it truly is, you get out what you put in. And so I think the Willingness to Serve process is so great for so many reasons.
Thank you.
And to just echo what Juliana said, people do want to see you succeed. This is Janika, by the way. I am someone who never wanted to be in a position that I'm in, but yet here I am. And one of the things that did help me was, I think it was Alicia Morris-Rudd was one person in a meeting, and she was saying, you cannot break the league. You won't break the league. And so I was like, you know what? She's right. So just go for it.
Thank you, Janika.
Sorry, I just started talking. I think the thing that I learned the most from stepping up into a leadership role is
what I thought I was joining the junior league for. I came into the junior league solely to make other girlfriends and like be good girlfriends and make new friends. And I have done that. Some of my best friends are on this call right now, which I was telling our little breakout session about. But the other thing that I really got from it is I wasn't really advancing at work at that time. I was kind of stuck in the same position that I was in at work. And when I started getting leadership potential through junior league, I was able to take some of the skills that I learned. I don't like speaking in front of people. I'll make a lot of jokes. I'm very self-deprecating. It makes me nervous even right now. But when I stepped into that leadership role, I learned how to become a better leader. And now I have a team of 16 at work. So it's taught me a lot throughout the 6 years that I've been here on how to become a leader that I want to be. So that's always, if you're looking for something, you might get that, and then you might learn that a whole new skill set develops.
I love that. Thank you so much. All right. One of my favorite things that I hear, and Jamie Mills and I are very, very good friends. And I think a lot of you know Jamie and some of you don't, but she is a sustainer now. So she's not.
Yep.
Yep. I went on mute. Sorry, you guys. Can you hear? Everybody can hear me now? Yeah. Okay. The one thing that she always said at any of these events is the time is now. If you're considering being a leader, do it. There's never going to be a best time. There's never going to be a time that, everything lines up perfectly. But if you're considering it, the time is now. So I think about that all the time, and I love that she would always be the one to say it. So I'm going to take that role from her and be the one that says it. So the one thing that I wanted to ask the group is there anything that you learned today that surprised you? Man, you guys, y'all must have done a really good job in these breakouts. Okay, so maybe one thing I want to do before we close. So we are going to close here shortly. It was a shorter meeting than we sort of anticipated, but I think get in and get it done and get the information you need is always appreciated. We are going to, as I said, provide the recording and the deck that I shared earlier, as well as make sure that the links are available on the welcome page of Digital Cheetah. We'll probably make a Facebook post as well. So information will be in countless places, and I'll probably tag one of our committee members to send a follow-up email as well to the group of attendees. But what I would love for us to do, if I can get 3 people, and I won't force anybody, but if I could get 3 people to share like what their number one takeaway from today's discussion is.
Okay, I'll go. So for me, it's just removing the fear and realizing that you can't mess anything up, and then you're going to have the support that you need. So I'm really excited about completing the application and just serving.
Thank you.
I can go next. I actually thought it was really nice that Ashley mentioned that, I've been mostly in external placements, but that there is a ability to feel like a sense of volunteerism, I guess is probably the word, in the other committees that maybe are internally focused. Thanks, Ashley.
You're welcome. All right, one more.
Hi, this is Nadira. In our breakout, we had a lot of provisionals, so it was it was encouraged that just because we're provisionals, like this is the time to jump in and don't be afraid, just go for it. So I think you were just mentioning the time is now, so like just take the time and go for it. So, and just because you are provisional, coming out of that provisional year, don't get stagnant, just keep on going and keep on pressing. So I'm excited to serving, looking forward to serve in this capacity moving forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. I love hearing everyone's takeaways. I think it's helpful and inspiring for us as well to hear you guys having good, positive feelings about the session. So was somebody going to say something? Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know there's lots of activity going on in the chat. Nominating committee members, you guys are rock stars. Thank you so much for maintaining that throughout the day. I really, really appreciate everybody taking time on their Saturday morning to spend with us. Everyone stay safe with the weather that's coming our way, and fingers crossed it won't be too bad. And always know that all of us are available. You can look us up in Digital Cheetah, call us, text us, email us. Any of us are happy to answer your questions.
I'm also gonna jump. I'm gonna jump in really
Juliana,
quick.
go ahead.
If you are not part of our Facebook members only group, we post so much information about everything there from an internal aspect that please request to be a member, and we'll make sure that you are accepted, because we literally post everything that we do internally there. We also have external channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for the Junior League, but the members only group is really important if you want to stay involved. That's where we post everything. So quick plug.
Thank you. Also, everybody just stay really focused in on the Facebook memberships page. That was a great segue, Juliana. We're hosting some sessions leading up to the close of the willingness to serve process that are called What's the Tea? So we'll be on an open Zoom Thursday evenings between now and February 4th from 6:30 to 7:30, where you guys can jump on and ask questions to any of us if you have them. So as we get closer to those days, we'll post more information and links and make that available, but just keep your eyes out for those communications, and everybody have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.